Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. Starting the week with 3 letters written by Cheetos before he became emperor to his uncle Cadio Perandus. So some players actually received these letters in a paper format, and basically this sets the lore for the new expansion which we are gonna talk about very soon. So Cheetos basically writes to his uncle telling him about his plans on how to become emperor and what should be done, asking his uncle for the support since he was from the Perandus family, which apparently was really rich. So this is really great for those of you who likes lore. And next, the San Francisco meetup actually happened and Chris and Jonathan met with over 50 exiles in San Francisco. So also, they handed out some of the Cheetos letters we just saw, so congrats to those who got them. We've also been revealed some stats for the Blunt race which occurred a week ago, and we can see that 330 players managed to kill at least one boss, and only 13 players killed Malachi in normal difficulty, and I'll be damned if any of these 13 players wasn't using a dual flame totem build. We also got a community showcase with a video from Willy Wonka. It was a pretty funny prank about Dark Shrines using Detonate Death. Then there is a comic by Gallio, really fun, about Dark Shrines as well. A very nice fan art about Beyond Demons, really good. And some amazing, really amazing renders of the laboratory and the archives. There's also a couple of unique items in there, so really recommended renders here, and a community highlights video by Miracle Flu. So really fun stuff again from the community. And let's see, first up are the development of Threshold Jewels. So Threshold Jewels is something that GGG always wanted to do ever since they started making jewels. However, they didn't find how to actually make them balanced and interesting right away. So it wasn't until Rory suggested the potential for this jewel to affect a specific skill in unique ways. So, for example, we've already seen the Steel Spirit last week, which increases the damage of each Spectral Fur projectiles by 4% every time it hits something. So this is kind of a buff to a starting skill, right? And GGG is kind of targeting these starting skills, trying to make them better. They also say trying to make them kind of more endgame viable. And there's been some controversy on this, because if you need those jewels to make the skills viable, you are kind of pigeonholing the whole build into those. So yeah, there's something to discuss right there. However, what GGG wanted was jewels that needed to be stackable, needed to affect a specific skill, and needed to be worthwhile to at least some specific build, even if niche. So let's see what other we got here. For example, this jewel with at least 50 strengths allocated in radius, so this means you cannot use any, just about any jewel slot you want. You need to have something with strengths around. You have a 10% chance to deal double damage with Heavy Strike, which is really good. If you crit, you improve the double damage. This really can create a spike of damage. And then the Rolling Flames with at least 50 intellect allocated in radius. Fireball projectiles gain an area of effect as they travel further, up to 50% increased radius. And Pitch Darkness, which with at least 50 dexterity allocated, your Burning Arrow has a 10% chance to spread burning ground if it ignites, and it has a 10% chance to spread tar if it does not ignite. This is actually a jewel I like, because it deals something in one case, it deals something else if the first thing didn't happen, and it might be interesting as a defense, as an offense. It definitely has some uses. It's not really that clear. It definitely has to work with Burning Arrow, of course. However, it might have some random other implications and might be interesting. So Yeah, we will really have to see how this skill works with the next patch that's coming up, because it's really hard to judge them just by the looks. We'll have to see how players can actually use them, and if these jewels will be able to actually help those skills be relevant more than the first few levels. And then we got the big news. Path of Exile Ascendancy is going to be the next update, which is coming in the early 2016. I'm gonna guess first quarter, and especially mid-March, because if the Talisman League is starting on the 11th, if you count that leagues have been running for 3 months now, it's gonna end the 11th of March, which means probably 1 week later we will be able to get this update, since Chris said that the patch is mostly ready and they're just doing balance stuff and fixing small things, because this time GGG had a much better schedule than the last update, which included Act 4. So, but anyway, let's get to what does this actually do. So the Trials of Ascendancy are basically some special puzzles rooms you will find throughout the world, and each of these, there are 6 of these, and each of these are related to a specific trap. For example, you see in the background a saw blades, there are rolling blades, there are sentries, there are spikes, and if you clear all 6 of these trials, you will be able to get access to the labyrinth in that specific difficulty, because there is a labyrinth for normal, cruel, and merciless. The labyrinth will change its shape every single day, so every day it's gonna be different, and GGG is gonna track how fast you clear it. However, it's not about the speed at which you clear it, it's about getting to the end, because at the end there are the biggest rewards. Before getting there, however, you will have to fight Emperor Isaro himself, which, after being dethroned by Cheetos, was pretty much thrown into his own labyrinth, and you will find him twinned with the spirit of the goddess you worshipped, and you will have to fight both of them at the same time. You will have to fight them more than once, with mechanics that will bring on between one fight and the other if you are too careless when fighting him. So that is going to be definitely interesting. And there are Ascendancy classes. Now this is the other really big part of this update. So every class has 3 Ascendancy classes, except the Scion, which, as you can see, only has 1 Ascendancy class, and it's probably going to be really interesting. As being a single one, it's probably going to be crazy. However, as you can see, the Templar has the Inquisitor and 2 more, Ranger has a Deadeye, Raider, and another one, the Witch only has Necromancer revealed, Marauder has a Juggernaut, and Shadow as, of course, the Assassin, focusing on crit, really sick nodes in there, Saboteur for traps and the likes, and an example of a full Ascendancy classes for the Duelist, which can go Slayers, Gladiator, or Champion. Now, this is an example of an Ascendancy class. Basically, you start from the little skull in here, and you get 2 points for each difficulty you complete the labyrinth into. So normal, cruel, and merciless, you will get 6 points. As you can see, you will be able to get only around half of the skill tree here. Now, these points are special, and some of those are really crazy. For example, Ricochet, skill chain, +1 times, no damage penalty. Wow, this is really good. Another one that's crazy, for example, Endless Munitions, skills fire an additional projectile, so that's really strong. All other points here are really good. Let's see, for example, the Champion. There is a sick one, you have Fortify on always. It's a permanent Fortify, and all these points here just buff it to no end. Attack speed, move speed, increased effect, increased armor and evasion. This point here gives allies and yourself increased damage and move speed, so really good for party play. Other points, for example, Versatile Combatant, 100% of block chance applied to spells. This would allow you to just drop Stone of Laswar and Rainbow Stride all together and just go for a full block build. I mean, this is the scope of the strength of these points, and unless they get nerfed before even coming out, this is going to be one hell of a power creep and one hell of a patch. It's gonna be really, really, really great to play with. So yeah, but that's not all. There are also enchantments. So every time you complete a labyrinth, you can put an enchantment on an item. Normal can work on gloves, Cruel works with gloves and boots, and Merciless works also with helms. So you will definitely have to play more and more and more labyrinth, because these enchantments overrides each other. So if you get one that you don't like because it's random, you will have to play again and get another enchantment until you get the ones you like on your piece of gears, and some of those, it's safe to say, are almost build defining. There's an enchantment for helmets that gives 20% chance for discharge to not consume your charges, so that's absolutely crazy. And helmets all have a specific skill enchantment, so it's going to take some time, but it's going to be really, really, really good. And it's also give you something to do alternative to, you know, maps and everything else, although we don't really know what level is the labyrinth and if it's gonna scale with your level, or you just have to steamroll through every single time. There are also going to be new skills, however, we do not have any news on that, although we can see some of these skills on the hotbars, or maybe even used a little bit in the videos. There are new items like Iron Commander Deathbow. This is for a summoner using Siege Ballista, which is a new skill coming with the Talisman Challenge Leagues, and a couple others. Of course, really, really good items. There are going to be dozens, and there are going to be divination cards, of course. I mean, unique items are really, really cool, although with all of these other news coming around, they look a bit dull. But yeah, I'm sure this will come really handy. And yeah, as I said, this will come in early 2016. I'm gonna say March. Hopefully we do not get another 1 month league in between the Talisman and this update. I hope not. And last is the news, of course, of the Ascendancy, and in this topic, which I'll link of course in the description below, you can find all of the reveals over here, all of the videos, all of the articles about Ascendancy that has been revealed so far. Some of these articles are really, I would say, really shit. Some of those are actually good. You can go with the videos if you want. Those are always pretty much narrated by Chris, so they're going to be good, although you're going to see a lot of the times the same stuff. You can tell they really practice their run for the press. And yeah, there's also the official trailer, which is really cool, so if you haven't seen it yet, definitely give it a look. And I guess that was all for this week. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. So that was all. I've been your host Zorzo, and I'll see you guys the next time.